Warning, this one prize attacker will demolish you. Be careful.
Okay.
With all these GXs across the board, a few people are starting to get bored, cause losing 2 prizes at once leave you sore. That's why Zygarde is here to settle the score. First things first, we gather the Florges and then start to burst with a legendary monster that will make you hurt. Got choice band equipped and got that crazy bloodthirst. Yeah, Max Elixer followed by a DCE, and then we shredder every opponent in the way cause we are better. One prize attacker, 150 HP, yep, we put on the pressure. I know we're weak to the fairies, but Guard of War matchups are generally scary. But screw that, we don't even care. See, as long as we demolish other decks with ease. Zygarde, hits hard. What a card. So better put up your guard. What's up YouTube, it's Zapdos TCG here and welcome to episode 137 where we'll be talking about Zygarde Florges. But first be sure to hit that subscribe button for more great Pokemon TCG content like this. Alright, let's get it out there. This is another deck that came out of nowhere and surprised everyone because everybody is playing a lot of these fancy GXs nowadays, while this deck only runs on the holographic card from Burning Shadows, Zygarde, as the main attacker. Okay, I'm gonna review Zygarde first and then we'll go over to Florges, since that will make the most sense for the strategy. So Zygarde is a 150 HP basic Pokemon, which is actually huge because 150 HP, we've never seen that before. Yeah, this is the first one that breaks the barrier like that, which is yeah, monsterly huge and will not go down without a fight and in one shot unless they are playing something really ridiculous like, yeah, maybe Gardevoir GX because we are weak to Fairy, just to get it out there. Yeah, with Fighting Fury Bell we can even add that HP up to 190 HP, but better, the tool card of choice should be Choice Band. So it has a weakness to Fairy, which is actually the only thing keeping this monster in check. Gardevoir GX will one-hit KO at any time of the day, so that rather sucks. And forget about hitting for weakness because almost nothing is weak to dragons, so that's rather unfortunate. The retreat cost of 4 is also not pretty, which might leave him stranded in the active position from time to time. But things like Flowstone and Guzma can definitely help us out, and yeah, in an instant. And yeah, Guzma is even searchable with Tapu Lele, so at least we have that going for us. Now to the good stuff, the attacks. For 3 colorless energy, we deal up 80 damage, straight 80 damage with Land Crush is not bad, and yeah, we can 2-shot Pokemon if we wanted to, and with Choice Band we added up to 110 damage, and we only need 2 attachments, which means a DCE and then another energy to get that 2-hit KO potential, yeah, shenanigans going on. But its second attack is what it's all about with this deck, unless we are ability blocked, because that will cancel out our Florges, which I'll talk about in a minute. So, Core Enforcer is the attack's name and deals 150 damage for Darkness, Fairy and double colorless energy. And then we have to discard a Fairy energy and a Darkness energy attached to Zygarde. With a Choice Band we deal 180 damage, which seems to be the magical number nowadays to one-shot every basic GX in the foremost. Actually almost every basic GX, because Turtonator GX and Lapras GX might cause a little bit of a problem, but then again we have Kukui in our deck as well, just to get that extra damage. And yeah, that for a one prize attacker, a non-GX/EX attacker, which is totally awesome. Now, at first glance, this attack cost seems way too pricey, right? We have to discard energies and we need 4 energies in total. Well, that's where our good friend Florges from Breakthrough comes into play. This Florges has an attack, but disregard that, we'll never use it anyway since we won't be running any Fairy energies in the deck. And now you say, wow, how can that be the case since we need Fairy energies for the attack? Well, it is a 110 HP Pokemon and it has a wonderful ability called Calming Aroma, which states each of your Pokemon's attacks cost 1 Fairy energy less. Which means if we can get this out, we only need 2 attachments for Zygarde's second attack, Core Enforcer. As a bonus, we also don't need to discard a Fairy energy since we won't be having one attached to Zygarde. So with Florges out, we deal 150 damage for Darkness and a DCE, and we only have to get rid of a Darkness energy. Pair that with a few Max Elixers, DCEs, and boom, out of nowhere with a Choice Band, we are starting to get one-shots from turn to turn, which is totally awesome with this deck. Of course, for the rest of the deck, so that was actually the main core of the deck, using the Zygarde in combination with Max Elixer, Darkness energies, DCE, and Florges. That is the main focus of the deck, getting that amount of damage really quickly. Of course, 4 Sycamore, 4 N, and 2 Guzma, and 4 Ultra Ball are a must in almost every deck, and that is no different here. But maybe add a 3rd Guzma in, since the retreat cost of 4 definitely can leave you stuck in some awkward situations where you said, if I had the Guzma in my deck. Well, if you run 3 Guzmas, you have a better chance of grabbing one at the correct time. Although we do run Tapu Lele, so don't forget that. Things that could also help in this deck is maybe a 2-2 line of Zoroark in here, because with that we have the free retreat option if we have a Floatstone attached to Zoroark, and with the ability Stand In, we can have that free retreat going on. As a bonus, if you decide to run the Zoroark, maybe try the Zoroark Break here, because you do run about 8 Darkness Energies in your deck, and it definitely, from time to time you can copy attacks with that attack of the Zoroark Break. So definitely try it out and let me know how it does. If you find the room for it, definitely try out Zoroark. I think it's really great. The regular Zoroark also can attack for a lot of damage for only one attachment, which is the DCE. Oranguru can also be your helpful partner in crime if you got end in the late game, and can also attack from time to time, because it does have an attack for 2 attachments, a DCE and a Darkness, of course. So Oranguru, do not underestimate this card. 2 Tapu Lele are also a must to get the right supporter at the correct time. Just think about the moment you want to use a Guzma to knock out a GX on your opponent's side of the field, to get your last 2 prize cards. That can happen, or maybe you want the Professor Kukui. Well, both of these cards can definitely be searched out with Tapu Lele. Also, if you decide to run Bridget, it's a really good early game, maybe getting out a Zorua and a Floette, or actually, how is the pre-evolution? Yeah, the pre-evolution of Florges, let's just call it that. Just to get those out on the field. A few Nazballs could also do the trick here, but if you do run Tapu Lele, maybe running one copy of Bridget is great if you do run Zoroark, since the setup is great. Evo Soda is also nice, and works perfectly in this deck to get your Florges as quickly as possible, so definitely try that card out. We do run things like Ultra Ball, so Nazball and Evo Soda are kind of optional, but it does help with the consistency here. And for the recovery cards, I prefer Super Rod over Rescue Stretcher in this case, since we do discard a lot of Darkness Energies with the attack of Zygarde. Of course, running 2 Field Blowers is a must in this deck, since the Garbotoxin Garbodor can definitely limit our damage output quite a bit by shutting down the ability of Florges. So with 2 Field Blowers, we definitely draw into them in the correct time and regain the power of our abilities to strike again for 150 damage instead of the usual 80. And that's about it. I know it's not a lot to talk about, but this deck goes as straightforward. Get out your Florges, attach an energy, DCE to your Zygarde, do Max Elixer, swap around, and then boom, out of nowhere, you deal 150 damage. Just like that. It's easy to do, and definitely try it out. It's kind of a budget deck, since you do not need to play on these expensive GXs as your main attacker. You can just run a regular holographic Zygarde. And let me know what you think about the deck in the comment section below, and with all that deck analysis going out of the way, we are heading into Poke News. In this segment, I'll talk about all the new releases, so get on board on the hype train, because Sun and Moon 4 is here. Okay, before I talk about Sun and Moon 4, I'm gonna talk about the new special collection boxes that will get released in January, which will be featuring Raichu GX, so you will be able to get your Shining Legends special collection Raichu GX box on the 5th of January. So that will probably be the first box released, and 2018, which is great. And then we also have a Guzzlord GX box coming on the same date, which is great to hear, because you get 4 booster packs, a TCG online code card, and an alternate artwork of one of those GXs. And Raichu is great because I do love lightning Pokemon, and Guzzlord is one of those Pokemon I already made a video about. Try it out with Whimsicott, you'll see how much crazy shenanigans can go on with that. The link will be in the description below. So now we are going to Sun and Moon 4. As you know, Sun and Moon 4 just got revealed, the entire set here. Well, we're gonna start with the Awoken Hero here. And I already talked about most interesting cards, but I'm gonna review some of them again for new players out there. So first card on the list is Carablast, which I want to talk about because it has an ability. Once during your turn, you may discard a Shelmet from your hand, and then search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and put it on top of this Carablast. So could be interesting if there come a really great Carablast or yeah, other Pokemon. Actually, the Pokemon that evolves from Carablast is actually Excavalar, and then also Assolgore. Yeah, so those two Pokemon, if there are really great Pokemon like that released, maybe in GX form, this card will be great with that ability. We have a Go-Goat. This Pokemon's attack deals 80 more damage to your opponent's Grass-type Pokemon. So yeah, if you are weak to Grass, maybe you can test this out if you do run Rainbow and DCE. So Go-Goat, really nice. We have Alolan Marowak finally making its appearance in the trading card game. For 0 energies, it has a free attack, just as we've seen before with Alolan Pokemon, Fire Dance. Choose a number of fire energy from your discard pile equal to the number of energy attached to your opponent's Pokemon. So let's say your opponent's Pokemon has yeah, like a Gardevoir facing you down with 6 attachments. Well, 6 attachments means we can get 6 energies from our discard pile, 6 fire energies, and attach them to our Pokemon in any way we like. I definitely see this working as a 1-1 or a 2-2 line as a support Pokemon to come out of nowhere and use that free move Fire Dance to get yourself back in the game if you discarded a lot of fire energies. It basically does the same thing like the Baby Volcanion, but the Baby Volcanion is a little bit better since you can deal some damage while attaching 2 energies. So this definitely has potential. Its second attack is garbage, though not use it at all, although it lets you flip 2 coins for each head, deals actually 70 damage times the number of heads. If you flip 1 head, your opponent's active Pokemon is also burned. So in combination with the burn and choice band, you might have a little bit of luck, but the attack cost is a little bit expensive, but then again, it's a 1-price attacker. Okay, moving on, we have a Starmie, which is kind of a coward nowadays. It has the ability to escape. Once during your turn, you may shuffle this card, and all actually this Pokemon and all cards attached to it back into your deck. It disappears with the wind. So Starmie running away like that. Octillery, I talked about it before with Special Cannon. You may discard a special energy from this Pokemon, and then you deal 120 damage for 2 attachments. Not bad at all. We have, of course, this Alolan Golem GX. I talked about it before. Actually, I don't think I talked about it before, so I'm gonna talk about it now. Yeah, it has 250 HP, 4 treat cost bad, weakness to fighting, could be bad against Marshadow, resistance to metal is neat against Metagross matchups. For, yeah, 2 attachments, a lightning and a DCE, you deal 80 damage. For 2 lightning and a DCE, you deal 200 damage, but then you have to deal 50 damage to yourself, and without Protection Cube in the standard format, Alolan Golem will have a tough time ahead of him, but it does have some potential in expanded with Electric, which is still popular and expanded, and yeah, the Protection Cube I talked about before. Alolan Golem GX might be the surprise deck that comes out of the expanded format, because yeah, a lot of Pokemon are weak to lightning and expanded. Think about Yveltal, think about Rayquaza, Mega Rayquaza. Really need to use. We have also this GX move, which is one of the most disruptive GX moves I've seen in a long time. It deals 100 damage, which might get you a knockout with the same attack cost like the second attack, 2 lightning and a DCE, and your opponent cannot play any card from their hand during their next turn. Wow, this is ridiculous. Think about, yeah, you get a knockout, you get 1 prize card. Well, the opponent cannot play anything from their hand. If they don't have energies on the field, they're pretty much stuck, and then next turn you can use the Super Magnetic Tackle to get yourself another 2 prize cards. So I definitely see potential in that GX move. Think about times where, oh, I don't have the N, I already used the supporter. Well, let's just use the Heavy Rock. It doesn't matter what they have in the hand. If they have a Guzma, if they have a DCE, the correct card that they want, well, it doesn't matter. They cannot play anything. So this could be a heavy attack, as it states, Heavy Rock. Okay, moving on, we have the Gengar. I already talked about it before. For new people out there, gonna review this one in a quickie here. Whenever your opponent attaches an energy from their hand to one of their Pokemon, place 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. It stacks for every Gengar, so let's say you have 3 Gengars out, they attach an energy, they receive 6 damage counters. With things like Gardevoir, this stacks as well, so if they attach 2 energies with that, with the Secret Spring ability of Gardevoir, they receive a lot of damage counters thanks to that ability. It also has free retreat and deals 70 damage and makes the opponent confused. So definitely interesting Gengar card right there. We have Gourgeist here, it evolves from the Pumpkaboo, and this one is actually interesting because it has, for a DCE and attack, it deals 10 damage. Before doing damage, you may discard any of your Pokemon tool cards and play. This attack deals 40 damage for each tool card you discarded in that way. It's a Psychic type, weak to Darkness, which is, yeah, kind of a better weakness to have. If it was Psychic, Garbodor would eat this up, but think about all the tool cards you discard, you can deal a lot of damage with that. If you have 5, let's say you have 6 tool cards on your field, field. You discard all of them, you deal a lot of damage. I do see potential in Gore, guys, right there. Next up is Salazzle. Salazzle is nowadays is the first psychic type being revealed here. It has Nasty Plot. Search your deck for 2 cards, put them in your hand. Kind of similar like the Talonflame we've seen before and the Sylveon GX, so really great attack to use. That way we can set up and get all the cards that we want. We never get end because we can get out of Sycamore with that Nasty Plot. Severe Poison is what the card is all about. Your opponent's active Pokemon is now poisoned. Put 4 damage counters on that Pokemon instead of just a regular one between turns. Let's say you have 4 Survivors on the field from Burning Shadows. You actually deal 80 damage between turns, which could end up to a lot of damage in the long run. So a poison deck is definitely coming with Salazzle. Okay, we are moving on. We have ourselves Buzzwole GX. I'm not gonna review Buzzwole GX. If you want to learn more about the Ultra Beast, I have a separate video about the Ultra Beast, so you'll learn all the strategies I came up on the spot right there. We have Aggron here. I already talked about it before in last week's episode, so I'm gonna visit Aggron once again. It's all about the first attack, dealing 10 damage and dealing 10 more for each damage counter on each of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So let's say you run Po-Town and a lot of shenanigans, actually on your bench Pokemon, so you have to have a lot of damage on your bench in order to deal more damage. Could be fun to use. We have Registeel, talked about him before. It's just like the Oblivion Wing. You deal 30 damage and then you attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon, so could work out in a metal deck to have some energy recovery. But think about the metal deck that is popular right now. It's Metagross GX that automatically has recovery, so Registeel is a little bit falling behind here. But do not forget, you can boost the power of metal types with the anchors of the Guardians Rising set. So for every one of those you got on the field, you can deal an extra 10 damage, so definitely don't forget those. We have the Excavalier here. It deals only 130 damage, so it's not the best one, but it is searchable with the Kara Blast, so it's kind of consistent, I guess, whatever. Now we have Kartana GX, talked about this one before, will be a huge card. As a little recap, Cut Down is the ability that is basically Enhanced Hammer, which is awesome. It's searchable with Ultra Ball because you can just get it out and have an Enhanced Hammer, which is totally, rocking the place here because a lot of people are playing special energies. Think about double, the Colorless Energy, Rainbow Energy, and also the new, the Revenge Energy. Counter Energy, that's the one I'm talking about, which will be huge. It's also a secret rare in this set, so be careful here. We have Regigigas, 180 HP. If you thought Zygarde had a lot of HP, Regigigas beats that in a long run, but I already talked about this before. Run this with Kiawe and also with Alolan Muk or Garbodor just to shut down the ability and deal a huge amount of damage with a huge amount of HP. So Regigigas is a really powerful Pokemon because if you don't have all the Regis on your bench, this Pokemon cannot even attack, so you definitely want to shut down that ability as quickly as possible. Okay, you have a Chinchino here. Choose 2 cards from your discard pile, show them to your opponent and ask your opponent if you may put them in your hand. If your opponent says yes, put the cards in your hand. If the opponent says no, return the cards to the discard pile and deal 80 damage. So for a single energy, this Chinchino is actually really promising here. Gets awesome recovery. If they don't allow recovery, bang, they get 80 damage in their face. Great, we have Type Null, not a great Pokemon. It evolves into the Silvally GX though, which has the same GX move as the Lycanroc GX, which is kind of they are repeating the GX moves, but then again it does for a DCE and a Colorless Energy, so you can splash it into the deck, I guess. Also has 120 damage and attach a basic energy from your discard pile to one of your bench Pokemon as some energy recovery, and also the ability, as long as this Pokemon in play, all of your basic Pokemon have free retreat. So if you have something like a Regigigas with 4 retreat, a Zygarde with 4 retreat, maybe you can splash in a 1-1 or 2-2 line of Silvally GX and you get rid of the problem in no time. We have Counter Catcher. This is where I'm liking it here. This item card is so powerful. It's just like the old school Catcher of Emerging Powers back in the day. Choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon and switch it with their active Pokemon. Basically a life sender in an item card. There's a catch though. Get it? Yeah, with Catcher there's a catch. You can only play Counter Catcher if you have more prize cards remaining than your opponent. So it's kind of like the comeback card, which I adore. You can search it out with a Skyla, or you can just put a lot of copies in here. You have to think about taking prizes at a certain point, so this will make the game a little bit more interesting. Peeping Red card, talked about it before. You can look at your opponent's hand and say, wow, you just reshuffle and draw as many cards as you had, or you can just leave them with the bad hand they have. So yeah, it gives you a lot of options. Psychic Memory is one of those tool cards that can only be attached to Silvally GX, and if you attach it to Silvally GX, that Pokemon is now a Psychic type. So you can change the type of the Silvally, which I definitely like because the full art looks so amazing. You can also change it into a fighting type with the Fighting Memory, so I do predict a lot more memory cards coming out for Silvally GX, which makes it really playable in my opinion. If the meta game is playing a lot of let's say Gardevoir, we need a metal memory in order to overcome that, and that way we can destroy the most popular decks out there. So I definitely have a lot of love for Silvally GX, and in combination with Silvally GX there's also Gladion. Look at your face down prize cards, choose one of them, switch this with Gladion, and then shuffle your prize cards once again. So this is great in decks like Greninja to get your Frogadier or double card energy when you need to, with certain decks that only run DCE like Unexpanded, let's say Gyarados, Vespiquen, you know. It's a lot of great cards that come out of Crimson Invasion, which will be the counterpart here, Sun and Moon 4. As the secret rares, we have Warp Energy here. Warp Energy is an amazing energy that lets you switch around. That way you don't need to waste your spot on Guzma, Floatstone, or Switch. And we also have Gladion Full Art. Look at that. That's one of the most wonderful cards art I've seen in a while. Okay, moving on, we have Shelmet. I want to talk about Shelmet. We are moving on to the counter set here, the Trans-Dimensional Beast. We have the Shelmet, which goes in pair with that Karrablast I talked about. We have Astelgor here with a card's energy, discarded energy from this Pokemon, heal all damage, which is not good at all because we only have 90 HP and then it also deals 70 HP. So for now, this strategy with Karrablast is really terrible. I do predict maybe a team deck of that because the teaching Pokemon players how to use abilities could be great with that. We have Magikarp jumping his way, get that if you play Magikarp Jump, jumping his way here on the list here with the ability Submerge. If this Pokemon is on your bench, it cannot be damaged by attacks, which means you don't even have to run Mr. Mime and Expanded anymore just to block the damage of your Magikarps. Nowadays, Magikarp is safe. It is not safe with abilities, so Decidueye can still get the best of him, or maybe the Dusknoir that came out in Burning Shadows, so you have to be careful still with those abilities, but with the damage, you are safe. So no sniping with the Darkrai shenanigans, so that is at least comfortable to know. Also, thinking about it, we have Gyarados GX, Magikarp evolves, but it also has an attack. If you manage to get a Water and a DCE onto Magikarp, you can use Waterfall Evolution, search your deck for a card that evolves from this Pokemon and play it on top of your deck. So you can evolve on the turn, on your first turn if you play Aqua Patch, so that is really good, and it evolves into Gyarados GX. With Waterfall you deal 70 damage, just an average attack, but with Choice Band I guess you two-shot certain Pokemon, and again if you're playing against Volcanion you even one-shot them, which is totally awesome with that Choice Band going on. It also has an attack which is a little bit overpriced. You need a Water and 2 DCE, so actually a 5, an energy attack cost of 5, which deals 100 damage, and if you have a stadium card in play, you deal 200 damage, but you have to discard that stadium. So maybe with Brocklet Hill, or maybe an expanded with Rough Seas, there's a lot of things possible with that dragon attack here. It is called Dragon Calamity, or whatever it's called, but it needs a lot of energy, so maybe with Aqua Patch DCE, you might get the best of this attack, and maybe destroy a lot of foes with Gyarados GX, but be careful of Gardevoir. I cannot stress it enough. If you have 5 energies attached to your Gyarados GX and you're facing Gardevoir, you're not doing a great job, man, unless you get that one shot, because if you have 200 damage with that Choice Band, 230, so you trade 2 prizes for 2 prizes. Also, Dreadstorm GX, discard 1 energy from each of your opponent's Pokemon. It might not seem that great of a GX move to waste your GX move, but think about decks that have energy spread across the board, all DCEs and rainbow energies. Then you can just get rid of all of those in one shot. Let's say your opponent has a DCE on their Tapu Koko, a DCE on their Drampa GX, and a rainbow energy on their Garbodor. Well, you can swoop all the energies like that with Dreadstorm GX. Could have potential in certain matchups, so a lot of minutes were wasted on Gyarados, but I'm a little bit of a fan of Gyarados, always been one of my favorite Pokemon ever. Okay, next up is I'm gonna mention Mamoswine just to get a little shout out to PTCG Radio here. It's one of his favorite Pokemon, or actually it is his favorite Pokemon, and also the mascot of his logo here. It has the Double Stomp, 60 damage, and a flip 2 coins for each, has 30 damage extra. Average attack. Mamoswine does have 180 HP, so it's a beast. The same HP like Regigigas, so the HP barrier is getting breached set after set. Let me know what you think about that. I think it's ridiculous that they keep adding more HP, which means people in time will start playing no GXs and start playing this because, yeah, a lot of HP here. It also has the Oversealosis, I can't even pronounce it. It has a second attack, let's just call it that. 90 damage and plays up to 9 damage counters on this Pokemon. This attack does 10 more damage for each damage counters you want to place on your Mamoswine with. Yeah, if you have that lot of damage, maybe with Acerola, might see something possible here. Mamoswine is, however, I do think, yeah, this is a stage 2 Pokemon, which means you have to use rare candy and get your setup once again going on, so not a big fan of it. I'm sorry, PTCG Radio. Maybe you can make a fun deck with it, however. Okay, next up is Phoebus. Might prevent all effects of attacks, including damage on a coin flip with this attack. Evolves into the beautiful Milotic. Milotic, 120 HP. Also has that first attack. Choose one of your opponent's bench Pokemon that has any damage counters on it and shuffle that Pokemon and all cards back into their opponent's deck. Things like Rainbow Energy, Potown will definitely help you out with that if you want to get rid of a threat. Let's say, oh, their Gardevoir GX has or maybe the Tapu Koko damage spread. Oh, they all have damage. You want to get rid of the biggest threat? Milotic can be your card to go to. Although you evolve from the weak basic Phoebus, so be careful of that. Also 80 damage and with the second attack and does 10 more damage actually to each of your opponent's bench Pokemon, so you spread around some damage here and there. Not the best card, but definitely interesting to mention. I'm not gonna mention every card, only the most interesting ones. We have Regice, talked about him before. I cannot get attacked like for against stage 2 Pokemon. Stage 2 Pokemons cannot even damage this Pokemon, which is awesome. Even all the effects get neglected, so Regice, an awesome Pokemon if you're having trouble against stage 2 decks. Think about Metagross, think about Gardevoir GX, think about the Decidueye, which might show his face and expanded. Okay. Even though Forest of Giant Plants is banned. Don't forget it. We have an Alolan Raichu here, talked about him before. There's a Stadium card in play, it has free retreat and deals 20 more damage for each energy attached to this Pokemon besides the base damage of 70. Next up is Mismagius, already talked about him before, deals 20 damage times the number of cards in your opponent's hand, so if your opponent cannot play any cards, let's say the Alolan Golem, if you manage to make it like a remix deck here, although that would be kind of clunky, let's say they all have cards in their hand, or maybe an item locking deck and expand it, then you can use this attack. Kind of similar like the Trevenant, but Trevenant deals more damage because a lot of people are playing supporters and items in their deck anyhow, so Trevenant from Guardians Rising is a little bit better. Also Chaos Wheel shuts down a lot of things. You cannot attach special energies, tool cards or stadium cards on the opponent's side of the field during their next turn, so Chaos Wheel resemblant of the Giratina. Okay, that was a mouthful. We have Grumpig, it cannot be confused. Wowee, no, nobody want to play that. We have Oranguru, a psychic type. Artwork looks amazing. It has the forest mechanics. Choose 3 tool cards from your discard pile, show them to your opponent and put them in your hand. So yeah, you can recover choice bands, float stones, whatever you want, tool cards from your discard pile. Great card in psychic decks. And next is another psychic Pokemon, Nihiligo GX. Yeah, pronunciation is a little off nowadays. I already talked about him before. If you play it down, your opponent's Pokemon is now poisoned and confused, so a little bit similar like the Hypnotoxic Laser, but instead of asleep, it is confused and you just slap it down and it happens. So great synergy with Darkrai GX. I already talked in detail about the Ultra Beast in the Ultra Beast video, definitely check it out. Regirock, talked about him last week, so you don't have to wait. I'm not gonna waste your time. Check out last week's video if you want to learn more about Regirock. Next up on the list, we have a neat looking Houndoom. Too bad it's not that playable. Yeah, it only deals 90 damage without resistance, so you can at least try and hit the Gardevoir, maybe for a 2-shot with Choice Band. We also have Hey Dragon. Once during your turn, you may choose 3 of your opponent's bench Pokemon and discard your you choose 3 of your opponent's bench Pokemon, discard all the rest, so sort of like a parallel city with the ability. Interesting to see. Guzzlord, definitely check it out. There comes a box out in January. Check out the Ultra Beast video or the episode. I believe it was episode 135 on the channel. Definitely check it out. Okay, Alolan Exeggutor, already reviewed. This could be something great here with Tropical Wind, sniping around some damage. You never know because it does have a lot of HP for a stage 1 Pokemon. Already mentioned him before, so we're gonna move on. We have a Komodo. Is it as good as the Komodo GX? But the Komodo GX was never good to begin with. It was the worst GX in my opinion since Double Dragon has been rotated out. So here in this situation we see that yeah, you can deal 130 damage during your opponent's next turn. Any damage done to this Pokemon by your attacks is reduced by 30. It does need a lighting and a fighting, so I don't want to see that. And it also has Warcry for DCE. If you have fewer Pokemon in play than your opponent, this attack deals 80 more, actually 90 more damage. So 120 damage for DCE, count me in, maybe with Rare Candy. Miltank, already talked about before, but this will be a huge card. If you think about, let's say you play Gardevoir GX. You have the Miltank in the active position, although you do run Fairy Guard, so you just slap one energy down with the Secret Spring onto Miltank, whatever. And its ability states if this is your active Pokemon, whenever you attach an energy from your hand to your Pokemon, you heal 90 damage. So you attach energies thanks to the Secret Spring ability of Gardevoir, then you heal a terrific amount of damage, which will be really colossal here. 90 damage per energy you attach. So let's say you have 2 Gardevoir GXs out, you attach 2 energies thanks to Secret Spring and the manual energy, you actually heal up to 270 damage per turn. Wow, great card indeed. Okay, where were we? To the item cards of the other set here, we have Dash Pouch. Yeah, this is a tool card. You can get it back with the Oranguru Boy or whatever. When this Pokemon tool card is attached to something, to a Pokemon, and the Pokemon retreats, instead of discarding the energies as usual, you can just put them back in your hand. Really great to reorganize your energies. Let's say the Gardevoir, but the Gardevoir needs Choice Band, but it does not always need Choice Band, but it's this the preferred tool card. But let's give it as an example because it's the most popular deck in one world. Well, why not talk about it? Let's say you use the attack and yeah, you want to retreat next turn. Well, you discard 2 energies usually with the retreat, but now you can just put them in the hand and reattach them immediately thanks to the Secret Spring. With that, you can use the Max Potioning combination and have a little bit of a better time instead of playing Choice Band. One of the examples, really nice item card. We have Luzamine or Luzamine, I think it's Luzamine here. Put 2 and any combination of stadium cards and supporters from your discard into your hand, sort of like VS Seeker, but it is a supporter, so yeah, you have to waste a supporter to use a supporter next turn. I'm not a big fan of that. Getting back your stadium cards, also not a huge fan. So not too sure how I feel about this. Maybe an expanded could be better. We have also a stadium card here, Sea of Emptiness. Each player's Pokemon that has any special conditions, yeah, retains those special conditions after evolving. Could be great. And the Salazzle Viper deck I talked about recently. Also, we have Ravage Plains, which lets you deal 10 more damage with your Dragon types and your Darkness types. So that at least is comfortable to know. And then, ladies and gentlemen, the card Counter Energy. Talked about it before, but it's amazing. If you're standing behind in prize cards, so let's say you have more prize cards than your opponent, and you attach it to a Pokemon excluding GXs and EXs. So if I talked about attaching Counter Energy to a non-GX, actually to a GX, don't do that, you cannot do it, only to non-GXs, then it counts as 2 of any type. So a double Rainbow Energy if you are standing behind in prize cards. Amazing to test out. Anyway, this was the video. I'm also going to show you the secret rares. We have, of course, the Counter Catcher. Definitely want to see that. We have the Counter Energy, and also the Water Energy gets a holographic secret rare. Hooray! Wishbutton also gets the secret rare treatment. Then, oh wow, the Florges look amazing. Look at that Gyarados. Look at that Kartana. Wow. And Silvally GX, definitely. This will be an awesome set to look forward to, Crimson Invasion. This was it for the video. Hopefully you guys are stoked for yeah, the new set coming out on the beginning of November. And let me know what you think about this new deck, Zygarde Florges. It's definitely great to test out. I will see you guys definitely next week or maybe in a few days, because I do tend to make a lot more TCG videos in the near future. Anyways, this was Zapdos TCG here. I thank you all for sticking with me throughout this long video. You got a really nice idea of what's coming in the near future and a new deck idea. What else do you want every week? So definitely subscribe to the channel to get this stuff every week. And also let me know what you think about the wrap, about the new cards, and about the deck analysis. Anyways, I thank you all again for watching. I'll see you again soon. Peace out.